most important things in terms of working with a legacy IP are the different pitfalls that you may encounter. Basically, one of the first and the most obvious reasons is that 30 years is a lot of time, and a lot has changed in the landscape, in both in gaming landscape and in the Heroes franchise throughout the time, and there is a lot of cultural, mechanical, and technological leaps in the industry in general. Other thing is that Heroes is a very diverse game, and different games have different mechanics, different audiences love different things about different games. It's so hard to find the things.
Muy buenas, saludos a todos los amigos de la Torre de Marfil. Pues nos acabamos de enterar ahora mismo de que, bueno, que durante las charlas que hay de la Gamescom 2025, pues iba a participar los chicos de Unfrozen en una charla dentro de la Gamescom. Nada, hemos conectado directamente el directo para echarle un vistazo a ver qué tal está esta charla y vamos a ver si descubrimos alguna cosilla. Y nada más, vamos a ir retransmitiendo y vamos a ir viendo a ver qué podemos ver en este directo. Espero que se me esté escuchando bien y correctamente, que esto ha sido completamente improvisado, no lo esperábamos, así hemos ido entrando y bueno, pues aquí a ver qué nos enseña. Ahora estamos viendo un repaso de lo que podríamos ser, lo que podría ser todo lo que ha sido la franquicia durante estos 30 años que ahora cumple, desde allí 1. Están hablando del núcleo del juego, que lo dividen en 3 pilares, que serían la estrategia por un lado, las batallas tácticas y la construcción de castillo, que sería la parte de gestión en sí.
So, the castle building, I think, is the most straightforward one, so I'll be talking a bit more details about the 2 other things. First of all, is this role-playing strategy is a combination of strategy and RPG elements that make the Heroes game truly unique. First of all, we try to define what are the main properties of such an experience. We decided that it's an exploration, the feeling of great adventure, that you uncover some mysteries, discover this new unique objects and monsters in the fog of war, and you explore the map trying to fight with other opponents that are hidden in there. And light RPG systems that allow you to bring your heroes the way you want them, with a small influx of different skills, different abilities of these heroes. And the randomness that makes it all fun, it makes it all unpredictable, it makes every single game session truly unique and different from one another. So, how did we implement it in our game? We tried to follow several main steps and main ideas. First, we went to go for the visual clarity, so every object would be seen, it would be distinct from one another. You'll be able to see the camera from one particular angle, and you'll be able to explore the map just how we wanted to find a lot of different new things. We wanted to add more global mechanics, like the ones that allow your faction to evolve along with your heroes. We wanted to add more unique gameplay effects that generally increase the randomness factor in a lot of ways, with unique objects giving unique new properties that haven't been seen anywhere in the franchise before that moment. And the randomness that we all love, that we all enjoy, that we feel is the important parts of the game, is a thing that we felt could be tuned down a bit, controlled in a way, so this randomness would still provide you with incredible, interesting experience, but won't be the thing that will ruin your game session without any impact of your own skill, because that feels unfun, it feels not nice, and that's not the experience that we love about those games. Going back to the tactics, I think that Hero 5 was a great example of a way to increase the interactivity in the tactical side of things without breaking things too much. And those core features were the differentiation between speed and initiative to make this aspect of moving units around a bit more intellectual in a way. And a lot of unique unit abilities that provide for different tactical options. And the heroes' participation in the battle without making too much of a difference. They still are an important part of battles, and they are not just bystanders looking at things happening before them. how did we do it in our game? One of the main decisions that we had to do is to make the battlefields a bit tighter, a bit smaller. We had to balance the speed parameters quite a bit, so every single unit would be able to participate in battle fully. We wanted to provide for the tactical depth, making them not as fast and agile, and making this difference between the slowest and the fastest enemy a bit smaller. Also, hero is actually participating in battle. Any hero has a lot of different skills that can be used at any point of time, but they're not an active participant, and rather as a supportive unit to the armies, as we wanted to make this game more focused on your armies participating in the combat. And unique abilities, we wanted to make more. We wanted to make them more unique, more interesting. So we added tons of different unique passive and active abilities to all the creatures in the game, and basically every single one of them is distinct. There are not two unique ones, and they all have a lot of different abilities that you can use in your battle to gain an advantage. And another one, last but not the least important thing, is the energy system. Whenever you attack, whenever you get hit, you gather some energy, you store it in a gauge in the bottom of the screen, the yellow one, and you can use this energy however you want, either for hero skills, either for unit skills, and it's only up to you to decide what you want to do with it. There are some systems that, of course, need to be updated. Throughout the 30 years of history, a lot of things have changed. So things need to be transparent, need to be intuitively understandable. So there should be a lot of tooltips explaining mechanics not only for the veterans of the series, but also for the new audiences. This so-called positive randomness, as I've told before, the controlled randomness in a way that not only you get different unique random outcomes, but you also can affect them in some way, so they only provide you with some positive experiences rather than negative obstacles on your way. And the approachable design and everything is quite an important thing to add to the game nowadays. Expanding the variety. We all love the variety in all the previous games. Some of the previous games have less variety, some have more. We decided that we want to make this one of the core features for our game. We wanted to make factions fully distinct, with every faction having its own unique, completely distinct, unique faction ability that will affect the battles most of all, but some of them also affect the global map exploration. And all the units are unique, with different stats, with different abilities, different passive and active skills. And also, one of the most important things that we are the most proud of is our innovative map generator. We've put tons of work in it, and we wanted to provide players with an ability to generate random maps, so the possibility for different gameplay stations would be literally limitless. And the map generator that we made allows you to create maps really advanced with a lot of different templates, with a lot of different mechanics, and basically now 2 single gameplay sessions will be alike, and we are sure of it. But most importantly, with all those changes being implemented, the one thing that you need to make the most vibrant is this preserve the feeling of Heroes game being a Heroes game. You need to balance it on a few different scales, to find a perfect balance between fairy tale and epic fantasy without going into one of those directions too harshly. To strike the balance between light-hearted atmosphere and the serious tones, so the serious emotions in the story campaign would still feel impactful and meaningful, but with some humor here and there without spoiling this altogether. And you need to make it approachable not only by new audiences, but familiar to the veterans, so the people of basically all generations that have played these games throughout those 30 years and the ones that have never played those as well would be able to find something that they will enjoy in our game. And single-player experience in a lot of ways had to be also redesigned, reimagined. We decided to stay away from the multiple campaign option, and instead we want to provide the new players with a cohesive storyline, single-player experiences that spans across 3 acts and will have a meaningful impact on the worlds of Enroth, where we are going back. And about the single-player experience and the narrative aspect of it, my colleague Katerina will tell you in much more detail in a couple of minutes. We wanted to give players really impactful, meaningful choices, so they will be able to choose how the story would unveil in the future, what side would they want to support, which side they want to be defeated. And also through these choices comes a huge grain of replayability. We believe our campaign can be replayed several times, choose different options, provide different missions in some particular aspects, depending on your choices. And even playing the campaign second and third time, you'll be able to see new things that you haven't seen before. And this continuous progression that we have talked about is also supported by a bunch of some sort of meta progression mechanic that allow you to transfer your progress between missions to make it even more cohesive and even more continuous. But multiplayer is also a really important part of the game for us, because we know that a lot of people have played multiplayer in previous games of the franchise. So we've done quite a lot of work to improve this experience. We introduced a number of game modes, 3 to be exact. The classic hero mode, the one that we are all familiar with, the one hero mode, where you only control one hero, which makes it a bit less focused on macroeconomics and macro management, and more on some sort of RPG-like experience. And another mode that we're introducing in the Heroes franchise is the arena mode, where you're able to draft your own hero with own spells, with random assortments of those. You choose them yourselves. You can see those on the screen. You draft those skills, you draft those spells, you draft those units, and you go straight into battle without any exploration needed, providing quick sessions of 10 to 15 minutes, just if you want to unwind after a long, hard day, or if you want to experience these battles without the exploration part, which sometimes can be quite long, and we understand that. On top of that, we have a lot of matchmaking modes, one matchmaking mode for every single mode that I described before. Every one of them will have a different separate ranked system, so you'll be able to gain levels on the ladder in arena and then afterwards start from scratch in the classic mode. And that's not the thing that we leave solely in our game. We also have all the traditional multiplayer options with the ability to host custom game lobbies, to host your own game sessions, to basically set the game flow the way you want, to play with your friends however you want, to break the game in a variety of different ways. So, coming back to the narrative decisions, I am giving the word to my colleague Katerina, and she'll tell you a lot about that.
Bâton magique. Thank you very much, Dima. Thank you. So, yeah, as Dima said, I'm going to talk more on the narrative part of the game.
Bueno, hemos escuchado la primera parte que se ha centrado sobre todo en todo los sentimientos y las mecánicas que han querido desarrollar los chicos de Unfrozen. Vamos a ver esta parte que es la parte narrativa.
Get a lot of creative freedom, but at the same time make it familiar for players who know the previous games. We had to pick the universe and the timeline very carefully. So one thing we decided to go back to Enroad, on the continent of Jadami, people pronounce it differently, that may be familiar to those who play the Might and Magic RPG game 8. And also, regarding the timeline, we are, in a time sense, we are a prequel, which means that we're going to be in some hundreds years before the events of Heroes of Might and Magic 1, 2, and 3. All of that gave us plenty of creative freedom to create new stories for new characters, but at the same time bring some characters familiar to you from the previous games. The same went with picking the sides of conflicts. So for the whole creation of the game, we have this philosophy of mixing old and new. We're trying to create a good balance of something already familiar to people and bringing it back, but at the same time adding our fresh view, our own ideas. So that's why for the early access, we chose 6 factions. 3 of us, on one had our older ones, which are Dungeon, Necropolis, and Temple, human faction. But even those, if you know them, they will have their own twist because it's a different continent. And we also have 3 newish factions, which is Sylvan, Hive, and our mysterious Icy faction that you will learn about very, very soon, but not from me. So those factions are like new, but at the same time they have these familiar maliciousness, some of them, or nature spirit in other ones. And we wanted to introduce the lore both for old fans and also for the new players. That's why you're playing the campaign or even the multiplayer, you will encounter some creatures that you may be familiar to you, like griffins or like vampires or even dragon slayers from Might and Magic 8. But at the same time, there will be new characters and new institutions on the continent. The way we wanted to present the lore is the way that it doesn't overwhelm the player. Basically, when you play in the game, you will find the bits of lore here and there. You can read occasional, as you can see on the screen, the biography, for example, of one hero. Or you can learn about the universe while reading the descriptions of the units. Or you can pick an artifact and there will be some small lines of lore. So like this, it's not just a wall of text that you have to read and carefully, but it's basically a bit of here, a bit of there, which we wanted to adapt to the modern world of information coming to you in a very small bites, but at the same time being well consumable, I would say. So what about the character set? As I said, we wanted to bring something old back. For example, the characters that may be familiar to you that played the older Mighty Magic games, like Ethric the Mad or Octavia from Heroes 3. And at the same time, we not just put in these same characters and, well, they're just there, but we're going to try to expand their stories to add to what we already know about these characters from previous games and basically see what happened to them like some hundreds of years ago before Heroes of Might and Magic 1. And whoop. And another way of talking about the universe and introducing the universe for the player is the characters of the campaign and the game itself reflecting through the world. So you just read the conversations and you learn bit by bit, you learn like what's going on Jedam, like which powers are here are more important, which powers are less important, who is new here, who is old here. So all of that is introduced to you through the character's speech, actually. And we also chose
Bueno, aquí
for the
estamos viendo algo
campaign
bastante más
to stick
interesante
to
también,
a
como
smaller
los
set of playable
caracteres
heroes,
están mostrando
but they
aquí
have much
su
bigger personalities.
historia,
So
cosa que
it's not
no
just a
habíamos
random hero you
podido
pick and
ver
cover, but
reflejado
it's someone you will actually, I guess,
bueno,
get a
en
chance to
todo
get attached to,
este
and you will
tiempo,
be following their
viendo
story and seeing like,
cómo
okay, what's
aparecen
going to
en
happen
pantalla la
next
historia.
like, with these heroes. The other thing, apart from the playable characters, we have actually a set of really striking non-playable like NPC personalities that I'm not going to spoil about too much. It's a secret. But they won't be just like, you know, quest givers that like say something, tell you, okay, go there, pick this artifact and come back. But they actually, all of them will have their own ideas. They are all sticking to one or another side of the conflict, and you will be able to follow their conversations and try to figure out like who is who and who is actually the good guy, who is the bad guy, whom are we liking, whom are we not liking. So they're not just, yes, as I said, some quest givers. They are their own characters that you will not impose, like we don't want to impose like, okay, this is the right side, this is the good side. We want the players to be able to play the campaign and actually decide, okay, I like this guy. I think like he's right. And then like maybe strike a conversation online. Like I know, like I think he's wrong. Like my favorite is another one. So that's what something we were trying to succeed through the also the non-playable characters. Speaking about the
Estamos pudiendo ver cómo es la UI del juego.
one thing I already said, we tried to adapt it to the modern world, meaning providing a shorter pieces of lore, but at the same time more meaningful. So we have, for example, these for the campaign, we have this dialogue interface when the characters will interact with each other, and there will be different choices that you as a player will have to take. For example, okay, which phrase I'm going to use to answer to this character, and that of course will influence on the outcomes of the campaign. So, for example, you like can say something like, "I don't like these fairies; they're suspicious." And then 3 missions later, you turn out that the fairies are also suspicious about you because they heard you don't like him. So that's something we wanted to give basically the players the choice with whom they want to side, who is the bad guy for them and who is the good guy. And even if, as I said, they're going to be the smaller beats of lore, it doesn't mean it's going to be shallow and we just like, okay, like here's the sentences and forget about it. No. If you are not really into lore, if you came here for multiplayer, fair point. You just play multiplayer. You don't have to read it. But if you're actually gonna seek for it, you can learn a lot about the universe, the events, the characters, by reading the biographies, reading the creatures' descriptions, etc., etc. So you will notice that actually many heroes, in one way or another, related to each other. One knows another one, and then something happened between them in the past. But yeah, as I said, if you're not here for lore, well, I'm watching you, but it's up to you. No judging. And
Hemos visto la interfaz de
last
los
but
héroes
not the
y
least
también
is, as Dima briefly mentioned, we
cómo se
chose
muestra
to,
su lore.
instead of several campaigns, like maybe familiar for many of you, like one
Creo que han
for
aparecido
each
varios que
faction,
no conocíamos.
we chose to create one bigger non-linear campaign, which will allow you to play inside like this one big story, play all the available sides, and there will be possibility to pick different like missions at some point. For example, okay, you got some piece of information. Now you have to choose: are you siding with this faction or are you siding with another faction? And that the campaign will branch in this way, which also adds to replayability. And yeah, for example, on this screen, you can see like there are two options to select the path. So you either have to side with a temple or you have to side with a Sylvan. And basically this choice will affect the rest of the campaign. And if you want to see what happened on the other side, well, you are welcome back to replay it. And yeah, to add here, it's basically we wanted to create the campaign, the single player, that every player can choose how they want to play it. We're not saying, okay, like these guys are bad, these guys are good. It's actually up to you to decide who is in the universe of Might and Magic on the continent of Jadam is a good guy and who is a bad guy. No pressure imposed from our side.
So, some more final thoughts to
Bueno, que han hablado
summarize
sobre
what we've
las
been talking about.
decisiones que pueden
The
ser no
main design
lineales y por
ideas that
tanto
we
cambiar
have
la
for
historia
narrative design and
del juego y cómo se
gameplay
presenta la
design.
campaña.
First is respect the past, but design for the present. The best thing you can do with the Legacy franchise is to create some sort of blend of old and new. Yes, it may be harder than just taking the one game and remaking it 100% or creating something completely different in a way that you want, that you feel would be better. The best thing for you and the fans would be to create some sort of a mixture of a good balanced thing. It combines all the best items and ideas from the old games, but also adds some new that makes the experience overall much more refreshing and much more enjoyable in the end. The second one would be intentional in what you revive and what you retire. That's the differentiation between the classics and nostalgia. The idea that some of the things that you liked back in the day may be not the best for your version of the game, for this particular experience that you're trying to provide people with. So you'll have to make some hard decisions here and there, what to adapt and how would you do it, while preserving the feeling, the atmosphere, and all the things that make those games truly special. And the last one, I would say,
Viendo las directrices que han
you
seguido
just
los
need
chicos
to
de
let
Unfrozen
the
para
original
diseñar el juego.
spirit guide but not dictate. Follow the feeling, follow the ideas, follow your also players' choices. How would you feel when the game was designed? What would make it better? But don't let it dictate your design decisions. Don't let it force yourself into situations that make the overall game a bit less enjoyable that you would feel it deserves.
And that's it from us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. If you guys have any questions, there's a QR code right over there.
Ahora un pequeño repaso
where you
quizás
can
a lo
ask your
que ha sido
questions,
el desarrollo
and I will
de
get them here on my
Universe
phone.
of
That's
Might
why
and
I've been
Magic, sobre
looking at
todo
my
en los
phone.
primeros
I've
blogs
been
más
trying to
recordados.
ignore them. So if you have any questions, I can see some phones coming up already.
People having questions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adrian, do you have any questions?
With the first ones, this is
Ronda de
mine.
preguntas.
Adrian, do you have a question? How are you?
How are you? Are you having a good show? You enjoying? You get what's the feedback from people who are testing the games?
It's actually very positive. People are enjoying the game a lot. We're having more sessions today, I guess. I came a bit later today because I'm a bit
We definitely have more sessions tomorrow.
Yeah,
as well.
we have also more
Feedback so
sessions
far was
tomorrow. But the feedback is
overwhelmingly positive.
very
It's-
positive.
It's
One
really nice thing to see.
yeah, one journalist even told me I was trying to find something to dislike, but I couldn't.
You know, the thing that has astounded me on this game from the beginning, out of all the brands over the years that I've worked on, is Heroes has this insane fan base. It's like
Yeah.
I can say any other game I've worked on, and then as soon as I say Heroes, everyone's like, "Oh, what's
Heroes?
Heroes?" And then
Who
you
said
go into
Heroes?
extreme detail on this
Yeah.
faction, this faction.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But also the community is very diverse, and it's
Yeah.
like you can meet all kind of people literally in the community, and some of them like know every single number of every single spell. Some of them know every like teeny tiny line of the lore, like from games that was released like 30 years ago. Sometimes, yeah, like it's insanely impressive in a good way, of course.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Okay, I have
We
some
have a
questions
question.
from the
Okay.
audience.
Question.
Thank you very much, guys.
Question.
The first one is, of course, when is the release date?
That's the question that we
Running
get
away.
quite a lot. We try our best to make the game as nice, as perfect as we can. So we can't really say for sure because we haven't really decided on that idea. But we are aiming to release in 2025. But we'll try our best just to make the game as best as we can.
To release the early access in 20.
Yes.
To release
That's
into
early
early access,
access.
that's important.
Early
distinction, yes.
access. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're also very active in the Discord server, etc. So we're
Yeah,
out-
and yeah, we're also like trying to communicate with the community the best. By the way, come tomorrow to the talk with our community leaders. Say hi to Kata.
Yeah, we have also.
And yeah, so tomorrow we'll have
yes,
more.
some of them are already here in the audience.
Yeah.
Some of them are stars.
So yeah, we're
from
just trying to do
Internet.
our best and not rush for a specific date, you know.
Yeah, indeed. Second question. Does
Pues parece no
AI
que
play a
seguimos sin
role
una
in
fecha.
map creation, and how will it affect it? Can you play the campaign as multiplayer only or single player?
This campaign is solely single-player mode at the moment. We have a separate mode of multiplayer for the multiplayer experience, but the campaign will be focused only on your single-player experience, for you to discover it for yourself, to make your own decisions.
And not share with anyone.
And AI,
what?
is it involved in map creation? AI?
No,
somehow?
all of we have two ways of
AI is in
creating maps.
neural networks we were talking.
It's kind of difficult to explain, isn't it? Because AI is a huge topic.
AI is
in design.
Bit of an umbrella term, but if we're talking about the neural networks and all of that, we have only two ways of generating maps. One through our customly designed random map generator, which was fully created by our coding team. Our innovative, very nice map generator that we are very proud of. Once again, I'll pinpoint that. And the other one is only the maps that are created by the people, by our own hands. So in that way, no, there's no AI whatsoever. But you'll have AI on the maps, you'll play against it. It's like artificial intelligence to make things interesting. The classic AI that was in the game industry for 50 years by now.
Indeed. Okay. Did you keep the idea of a multiplayer mode with parallel turns?
Yes, we have a separate parallel turns mode aimed to straightforward this experience to make it, to not make people wait for an hour before other person makes their turn. So that's what's quite a priority for us to design in the game around multiplayer. So we have this mode, and it has some tweaks here and there in terms of maybe the classic parallel turn mode that people are familiar with, but you'll see it all in the game.
Cool. Sort of a related question. Do we still have hot seats?
Yes, there is a way for us to play hot seats, but I think a lot of people ask for that, and a lot of people want it to be, so there will be a way. Some people really needed that hot seat experience.
Finally.
Will there be more factions later, more than the 6 ones we've already mentioned?
Run away.
If you want to ask on this.
Run away. No.
Uh,
As we said already, for the early access, there will be 6 factions, 5 that you already saw, if you're following us in Discord or other social medias, and the 6th very mysterious, very secret faction. And then we will see how it goes. And
we have some ideas.
Maybe. We have ideas. We have a lot of
Say it like
ideas.
that.
As Adrian said, we are full of ideas.
But the roadmap for the early access will be revealed later on, and you'll be able to see our plans for the early access.
Yeah.
I'd say it like that.
Indeed.
Answer.
Is it PC only or planned for other consoles as well?
At the moment, we aim for the Steam release. It's our main platform that we are aiming for. And if we have any updates on any other platforms, as well, we have some ideas here and there, but they all be revealed later on. Stay tuned.
Let me see. What other games, beside Might and Magic, and non-game elements inspired you while you were crafting the game?
I guess one of the inspiration that we have is also our beloved franchise, King's Bounty, the one that was revived in the early 2000s. It had some sort of inspirations for us. We took some inspirations from different strategy games as well, from different RPG games. We played tons of games like Civilization, Disciples, and in one way or another, all of them influenced our way of thinking, our way of designing things. So you'll be able to find all different types of influences here and there.
Will there be a demo of the game?
Maybe.
There is always a chance,
Or maybe not.
but maybe not.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Puede que haya una demo.
Here's an interesting one for you. You've said that the campaign will be non-linear. Does that mean there will be more than one canon ending to the story?
At the moment, it's still a bit early to talk about the ending because in the early access release, we'll present only the first act of 3 of the campaign. So at this particular moment, Act 1 has only one canonical ending that will lead you into the following acts. But during the release, after the early access release, we'll be working on Act 2 and Act 3, and they provide for some variations.
I mean, I guess in a way we can say even about Act 1 that like there is a bit of like
That's true. Yeah,
a bit of like
I've been underplaying our campaign a bit.
different-ish ending-ish.
Yeah, there are some hooks here and there that
But
lead to different
we're not telling you
consequences,
nothing
I would
because
say.
we don't like spoilers.
But yeah, that's all we can say for now because that's the parts that we focused on mainly.
Okay, cool. Here's one. I have played a lot of Heroes of Might and Magic games, and my experience is that you usually have to be quite aggressive. Can I play the game and be very defensive?
I guess the answer for that would be that we have a lot of different customization tools for your single-player games in person. We can't control how the multiplayer players will attack you, sorry about that, but in the single player, you'll be able to adjust the difficulty the way you like, adjust the basic aggressiveness and harshness of the monsters and array around you, so you'll be able to create this experience the way you want to play it.
Okay. Is it possible to play local multiplayer?
I guess that's the
That's
question
the
related to the hot seat
question
one,
that we
so...
already
Yeah,
got before.
similar question to that.
Or is it like LAN network, LAN parties? Some sort. I'm not
It's the
exactly
LAN
sure.
parties of the
I'm not sure if that's a
formation.
thing still. So
I'm not sure.
can say it.
I'm a single player. I sit in my cave and don't communicate to people.
Here's one. The small monster battles on the map could sometimes feel quite repetitive. Have you made some changes to make that more exciting?
To make what part exciting? Could you please repeat?
Like if you have small monsters that you need to clear from the map, if it's just one stack of a tier 1 unit, have you done any changes to make those kind of battles a little bit more interesting or quicker?
As I've said before, every single unit in our game has some sort of unique abilities. And there are some surprises with the lower tier units, I won't spoil anything, that you'll encounter when you fight them. So I think, yeah, there will be much more interesting things in the battles, even with the weaker opponents. Some passive abilities, some active abilities. There is a lot to discover.
Will there be tools to create custom maps and campaigns?
Yes, we know that's really important part of any Heroes game. The ability to give people the ability to create the maps they want to play and to share these tools with the community is one of our goals for the early access.
Yeah, the random map generator will be there in early access already, and as Dima said, we are very proud of it.
Yeah, but the map editor itself will also be presented at one point of time. We can say for sure at this moment, but we're planning to release it, of course, to give the players this ability.
Bueno, pues
Here's a
tendremos
question
adelante
from
entonces.
Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. In many Heroes games, the starting faction was just a starting town. Will Olden era go for strictly faction-based gameplay?
There is some, I guess, if we speak about our loss system, for example, that stays with you for your match. So if you don't know, if you haven't like followed our devlogs, so basically the law system is something new we have. It's another like, kind of a technology tree, I think we can call it, that you will be able to unlock to boost your faction, and that will stay with you even if, for example, let's say you started playing as Necropolis, you lost your old Necropolis cities and you got like Hive cities, but the law system will still be of the Necropolis. So yeah, and also we have a faction Hive that is very basically the idea of it is to be kind of a mono faction that encourages you to play only with Hive units. It doesn't like, it's not obligatory, of course you can find all your ways, but that one really like encourages you like, okay, I want to play like only like this solo faction, I don't want to mishmash. So that's where you look for.
The short answer would be yes, we have some inclinations towards this faction importantness in the game. But of course, you will still be able to conquer other cities and play with other faction units. That's always available for you. Depending on the map, of course, but most of the time, yes.
So it's a mixed answer, basically. There's sometimes yes, sometimes no.
It's whatever you choose, basically.
Yeah.
Like you wanna. There also we have some amount of templates prepared for the random map generator. And every single template is different one from another. So it will also, you can pick your favorite that suits your play style. And yeah.
Here's a bit of a curveball, maybe.
Oh.
I don't know how much you can say about this. Probably not much. Will the secret faction be involved in any way with the Vori? No answers to that one, sorry.
Or maybe not.
As per usual. But mostly, soon enough, you'll be able to know much more details.
Yeah, if you followed
faction.
if you're following our Discord, you maybe saw some weird things going on there yesterday.
By the way, join our Discord. We have an active community
join
there.
Our Discord.
We are also present there all the time answering your questions. So if you have any other questions that we haven't answered here, you will be able to ask them there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're not following us in Discord yet, do please. And you can also always ask us more questions there. Basically any hour of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year.
So you'll see much more details about the sixth faction really soon.
Yeah.
No worries.
Absolutely. Okay. Is it going to be playable on Steam Deck?
We already, actually, one of our colleagues, just for fun, tried to launch it on Steam Deck. So technically, it is already possible. But as we said, as Dima said before, for early access, we are aiming for PCs, for the Steam. And the more platforms, the more
for the desktop
devices.
experience,
Yeah.
basically.
So yeah, on the early access, it will be desktop experience.
But of
and
course,
then
we know how important Steam Deck for many users, so we keep that in mind,
example.
for sure.
Okay, final
Bueno, de
question.
momento
from
solo se
Martin.
confirma para
Are there
Steam.
Hi, Martin.
Hi. Are there still dwarves in the game? Because they are the best fantasy race.
Sorry, who?
Dwarfs. Do we
Well,
have any dwarfs in our game?
As you saw in
The roster of factions was introduced, so there are no dwarfs there, sadly. But who knows what future
But as we
brings
said,
us.
hopefully that's not.
Maybe in the future.
So yeah, we'll.
Maybe in the future. That's the only answer we can give, sadly. But depending on your feedback, we'll maybe reschedule some things. So we'll try to listen to the community feedback in general.
Yeah, join us on
Adapt to
Discord
this.
and pester us about it. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Bueno, todo.
And thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
and
the
thank you,
introduction.
and thank me, and
Pequeño
thank you,
repaso.
and thank
Thank you.
team.
Muy bien, pues muchas gracias a todos por los que se hayan podido pasar, ha sido completamente improvisado, pero aprovecho la ocasión para recordaros que esta misma tarde a las 6 menos cuarto aproximadamente estaremos en directo Vitir y yo para retransmitir también otro de los eventos que tenemos que parece relacionado con HP Lovecraft. Y estaremos aquí para contaros todo ese Indie Game Show esta tarde, así que no os lo perdáis, por favor, pasaros 6 menos cuarto, recordad. Hasta pronto.